Check one, two. Check, check, check. Alrighty. So, if you've watched anything about this so far, then you will know that I haven't had any vocal audio and may not understand some of the things I've been doing. Well, to put it simply, most of the confusing things I probably can just generalize and blame on Master Chief Collection. And time after time, you'll see in the previous videos, how broken this game is. And it's been bugging me so bad. I want to go on the record. I finally got it to where these are getting backed up. The first three I didn't get saved, so there's wasn't any record of them. You can't go watch them. So I went and I tried to go to theater mode and tried to play the clips of me forging it and fast forward it today. And even that, if you go back and watch those streams, which I did save, you'll see how broken the game is. Every single clip crashes. You cannot watch one theater clip on this game without it crashing. And that may just be because I'm in Forge and because of how broken the Forge is and how it constantly spawns you outside of the map. I mean, this is probably the worst, most broken aspect. And it just drives me crazy that they could even make this game, that they would even bother to make this game and have stuff like this happening, because it wasn't even in the original, this didn't even happen in the original game. So it's like you have to go out of your way practically to make it this broken. And I'm not completely convinced that it was an accident, but anyhow, I've decided to be patient, go ahead and give this game one try to build one map on here for the community, so that way people have something better to play on those custom game browsers than the garbage that they're having to recycle, because it's like nobody even has any of the good quality maps anymore that were made on this game. And there are a bunch of cool new features on this Forge, new objects. I wouldn't have been able to ever use these boards on the original game on this map. And there's a lot of other objects that hopefully I'm going to utilize towards the end of the build to kind of add like some finesse and some detail, feng shui to the map that I always felt like I was missing on some of them, because there just wasn't very many objects for cover, for adding detail, like I would find myself using something like this and trying to just poke a small corner of it out of the ground as a little rock, essentially, to cover behind, and it just ended up kind of looking stupid and being a lot of work, and using a lot of your space, So, anyways, that's looking at the positive aspects, but I'm just going to show you an example of this and how broken it is. I'm actually going to I'll go ahead and I'll do this, and then I'm going to end the game just to start a new clip in case for some reason I am able to use those. But yeah, if you spawn an object anywhere anywhere on the map, essentially. For some reason, on any map, when you spawn the object, you know, you can see that my crosshair is here, and I move down here, and then I spawn the object, but then, well, but like I'm at the top of the window right now, right? And if I spawn it, then I delete it, now I'm way up there. So for some reason, it has this unnecessary need to move your character when you spawn the object, which has never happened on the original game. The other thing that drives me crazy is that, you know, you now rotate around the object like some sort of crappy Far Cry version of Far Cry knockoff editor, instead of being able to like move the object with your character. Like you used to be able to kind of like do that. I don't know. It was like you could just spin. You know, when I looked, my center of the camera, you know, it wasn't like I was centered on the object. It was just like you could turn and it would just move the object. You know, and now it just moves your camera, which you'd think would be a good thing, but it's not really, because then as soon as you want to rotate it, you know, when you're in phased mode, well, now for some reason it puts my crosshair not in the center of the object like it's supposed to be. It puts it on the teardrop, which is also another broken aspect of the thing. And so all the time, you know, I'm trying to do something and I'm trying to look at what I'm working on, but for some reason it has me, you know, way over here. Like, for example, if I was doing it here, you know, and it's something on the ground, and it's like, once you start putting it into these other objects, it's like, oh, if it was on the center of it, I could zoom in and see this area. This is what I want to look at right here, right? That's what I'm concerned about. I have no care. I do not give a fuck about this area, but for some reason, the only area I can look at will be way down here, not up here, because it's not in the center. So it's having me look down, way down here, and so I have to do all these stupid things to get the camera angled to be where I can even see the area I'm trying to look at. And yeah, so if you just spawn an object and you're not in the very center of this map, I don't know how it is on the other maps exactly, but if you're not in the dead center right here, and even if you just keep spawning objects, it just keeps moving you up till you die. And that's just super, super broken. But if you're anywhere else, like let's say I'm over here and I want to make the object, like kept happening to me earlier. I was in this corner and I was trying to make the object, and maybe it was because I wasn't looking at the corner. I used to spawn objects down here all the time on the other game, you know? And yeah, of course it won't do it when I want it to do it, but it was doing it to me in this corner almost every time I was trying to spawn one of these boards. You know, but it's not even anywhere near the map. Like when this happens, like I'm way, you can see that corner of that scaffolding. I mean, I'm obnoxiously far away from the map. And like if you're like right here or something and you want to try and spawn it, bam, died there too. Like it's just ridiculous. No, and almost there's so many spots that I've found that you cannot do it. You cannot create an object. And on the old game, it would just say, cannot create enough, or not enough room. You know, that almost never happens on here. And if you're anywhere, I don't, it's like anywhere over here, whatever. It's something with the distance that you are the object, but see, I did that one myself, but that's just another aspect where it's broken because for some reason, and this is just it's even harder when you're working in this area. Like you cannot spawn an object anywhere back here. Like if you even tried to, like I used to make them right here.
Suicide.
You know, and I would like funnel them in through those holes that I have left. And the old game, you know, it wouldn't put you outside the map. Like on this one, you know, if you just spawn an object, now it's like I can just move through all these objects, which essentially was a good idea, I feel like, but it's broken because it's like if you're anywhere near the edge of the map, like here, or if on this map, there's no ceiling, so if I'm just looking around, and then it's like for some reason it just pushes me outside, then you die. And there's just so many different ways where it happens. I mean, there's times that it'll happen like to me 4 or 5 times in a row, and you're just like, why is this happening? Why did they do this? So I don't know if anybody else has experienced those kinds of frustrations when they're using this. I would imagine that anybody who has probably quit using it, because it essentially, when I first tried to switch, it was impossible. Like the whole every mechanic of the game is different, like, and then rotating the object too it's all broken too. Like if you turn this off, like I prefer actually, you know, it's like, okay, so if I'm facing the object right when I create it, up and down goes up and down, and like left and right goes left and right. Okay, that makes sense. But then if I go this way, so like on the old game, if I went up and down, it would barrel roll it, you know, it would go up and down this direction. But for some reason on this one, and it all rotates around the teardrop now. It doesn't rotate from the center of the object, which is another aspect of like the brokenness. But the sticks and the triggers, they just don't work like they used to. But yeah, if you're just trying to place something, it's like it'll get all wonky, and it'll be like, you know, you can't even, this object is not doing it as bad, but like the walls are ridiculous. If I were, you know, it's like if I just wanted to make it flat without using the 90s, you just go like that. Well, but it doesn't want to do it like straight. It's always like crooked. And then when you try and make these like minor adjustments like that, you have to face it this way. Like I'm just doing it because I've gotten the habit, but it's like I used to be able to like do things like this, and it's just, see, you know, it just does not rotate the same. And everything is like inverted or something. I don't know. I'm kind of getting used to it, so it's not as bad, but and that just drives me crazy, because this used to push the object further away from you and pull it towards you, and now it pushes you away from it. It's like, why would I ever want to push myself farther away or closer to it? I don't see any reason that I would want to do that, especially once you do that, then you're just going to kill yourself, because you're just going to end up like pushing yourself outside the map essentially, or whatever. And it doesn't do it until you put it into phased mode. That's when it just starts pushing you through the floor, the walls, and just everything gets just totally broken. Anyhow, so it's coming along good. This is essentially a remake of something I did do on the original game. So it's been coming along fast, but it's changed a lot. the original map had it was actually a 4-way intersection of these barricades. There was like doors made out of dumpsters and stuff. I had like a bunch of moving parts and timers and stuff going on, and it was really neat, but I don't think any of that's really possible in this game. I mean, surely if you built it on the other game and imported it onto here, it would work in multiplayer, but the Forge is just so broken because, like, for example, and all these aren't, like, this way it respawns them and stuff is really different from the original game too. It's giving me a headache, but it's not really a problem yet. It's just I don't understand it. I don't know how to achieve what I want to achieve yet based on the new mechanics of the spawning, so I gotta tweak that, but for some reason none of the places start no works. Like, I have not gone to see if it actually works in multiplayer. I assume it does, but in Forge, none of it works. I don't know why. It's like they didn't even test any of this stuff. Just so broken. But, like, for example, if I just wanted to, earlier I was trying to, build stuff inside of these, or delete something that was inside of these, or like there's a man cannon inside of here and it placed it and it wasn't right, and I want to move it, and I had to build a crate and put a turret and move and use the turret glitch to get inside there, which was my remedy for their brokenness. But that's not how I would normally do it. That's not how it makes sense to do it, because you could just say, oh, well, I'm just going to hit place to start no and put it at like 180, so I got 3 minutes, and then you would just go and you would hit start a new round.
Round over.
My runtime minimum is not set to the maximum or anything like that. But it doesn't matter. Like, 1 on the map, minimum 0. Place to start no. Like, this object should not be here. This object should not spawn until 180 seconds has gone by. And there's no way to get to do that. And I don't even know if I save it and were to do it in multiplayer. Try to do, like, because I used to use that for a lot of my timers and mechanics and different builds. You utilize that stuff. Those infection maps and stuff. I don't even know if it'll work on there, but yeah, it's really frustrating because, no matter what I do, it's like once you place the object, you really can't. The only way to change something, change anything that's inside of that area is to delete it or move it, put it back, which essentially you might as well just delete it. This is going to take as long to place it either way. So that's just wanted to discuss some of these broken things and why it's been frustrating me. Like, there and just all these objects, like, even if you use the coordinates thing, it's always changing the coordinates until you like grab the object. It's super buggy, but kind of works. I think essentially they just took whatever they had for reach or something and kind of like backwards tried to port it backwards to this game, and all those mechanics work in Reach. They work good in Reach. I used to Forge on Reach, and I kind of liked all that stuff on there. But this one, it just does. It's just buggy as hell. I don't know. Like, they probably just looked at it and were like, okay, it's there, and tested it slightly, and were like, oh, it works just like the other game. But it's like, nah, it doesn't work at all. And I don't know. Maybe they just couldn't get it to work, and they're just like, this is what you get. I would have rather it be the old way. But if it was like, you have to have it be the new way to have all these extra objects and all this extra money and everything, then I don't know. I would like the option to have it one way or the other at least. And then the controls too. I mean, I wish that 343 would give you an option to change your Forge controls to the original or just change them at all, because it's like if you hit start, it says default edit mode controls. Okay, so those are the default, so I want to change from the default. But you can't. There is no way to change it. So it's like, why does it even say default? You know, why does it even say that? Why not just say that's the controls? Because you can't change it. So it's just permanent. It's not default. Yeah, driving me crazy. But it's coming along. It looks good. I mean, stuff like this went way faster on this than on the other games. So that's nice. Kind of evens it out. Stuff like this, you know. But yeah, the coordinates thing, it's annoying to you because it's like, okay, I want to do this object here, and then if I, this way, and then I've got it right there, and I'm like, oh, you know, I just need it a little bit closer this way. So then I go to the coordinates and I see them. It's like, now it's like, here's a good example of this. Like, I've grabbed the object, but for some reason it wants me, my crosshairs, to be way down here, so I can't even really see what I'm working on until I hit right trigger, and then it grabs the teardrop. But either way, it's like I really want to look over here. It's just really hard to from the teardrop. I have to, like, you know, line. I just, you can't even really see it. But yeah, so you could go to edit coordinates, and you'd go to, like, probably one of these, this one, and like, okay, so I want to move it, but it's like it moves it a huge amount. I mean, 10th is like, shit. Yeah. 10th, the smallest increment moves it from here to there. And like, well, what if you need it in between there? Well, you're just fucked. And then it's like, okay, I can do that manually, but it's really hard to on this one, but I still can. But then if for some reason you want to edit the coordinates later, like the height or something, and you accidentally click this one, or you forget which direction is which, it moves it for you. You know, it automatically just goes to the nearest 10th. And it just screws everything up. And I don't know, I just used to take all the objects and I would just place one wherever I wanted it, and then I would just build off of that one, and I would like place another block, like with this floor, I would like place some of these like underneath it or on top of it or whatever, and then I would just slam all of these up against the bottom of this flat block and just keep scooting it along. And as long as you just do it right, you know, they're all perfectly level with each other, and and it'll just be whatever height you decided, and it's just how it was. And now you can't do that, because you can't move the objects when you're holding them. Like, you can't force them. You can only move your camera. I can move it like this, but I can't push it away. I can't do any of that stuff, so it just doesn't work. And anyways, if you've never really done it on the original game, none of that really probably makes sense, but it's really a hassle, you know, compared to the original. And it's just one more, you know, aspect of how broken, how lazy they were when they threw all this together. I feel like, I don't know, I found so many other little broken things, like earlier, I don't know, I don't even remember, but that was assault rifle ricochet on this one. I don't even remember if it did ricochet on the original game. I had the fuel rod cannon ricocheting like crazy yesterday. I didn't make it to the video, but so I was like, oh, okay, so this assault rifle can ricochet, so I should be able to kill myself with it off this wall. And shoot the wall, it ricochets, and look, it's hitting me. My shields are breaking. You can see bullets hitting this guy, and it's making an impact, but my health isn't going down. You know, and I have no like modifiers. So what's up with that? Does that mean that like any ricochet bullets go off and hit somebody doesn't do any damage? Like, that's kind of lame. What's the point? Why even have ricochets if they don't do any damage? Seems like a bunch of wasted effort on, you know, if you ask me. So I don't know. I'm sure the more I play this game, I'll just keep finding more things like that that are broken that just bug me that it's never going to be fixed probably or anything. Another thing I noticed is that the color of this glass is different from the other ones. Yeah, you can still see it. I got these lights here now, so it's hard to see, but this one is tinted differently, and that wasn't in the original map either. I don't know why. Like, how does that get changed? Why does that get changed? And it's like, it just is. It doesn't affect anything. It's just like, why leave that? Like, why not just have them all the same like it used to be? I don't know. They probably just didn't notice. But yeah, so I had this idea for doing kind of like a biohazard symbol kind of layout, kind of just all start coming together on this new build. It's slightly different than the original. I got so many more pieces. I kind of just changed it up and just kind of thought it'd be cool to kind of have it be like a trifecta in the middle, because I don't really see that. I don't see that on too many maps. You do see, what's it? I don't know. No, most of them have like 4 entryways, like Ascension and Guardian, and most of those maps with platforms in the center kind of have like 4 ways you're going to come into it. It's really symmetrical. So I thought this would be kind of cool, like 3-way platform. I'm sure there's something like this on some map somewhere. It's probably like in a skybox to where you fall off the edges and die. I don't know, but I just thought it'd be a cool design to kind of have just like a 3-way entry into the center. And it's turned out good. It's looking nice. I like that I can make these fixed and kind of have this little gap in between here on this one, to where kind of more like a bunker. Before, I had them slammed up against each other, so couldn't see through it, couldn't shoot through it. I don't know. I might change it back, but I like it like this. I like how it's all flush up here, so I'll probably leave this that way. But yeah, one of the aspects of it not working the same as the other game is that because I have these fixed, see, on the old game I actually was using receiver nodes to hold everything down. That probably still works on here. Like that one I don't have fixed, so if you put that or a weapon holder or something on top of there, and then grab a weapon here. And if I shoot one that's not fixed, falls right over, pretty easily, but it really doesn't go anywhere. Like, I like that aspect. They really had to get pretty destroyed before they moved. But, you know, once they did move, like, these could fall. And they could kind of, like, land in here. I thought that was neat, you know. As the game went on and progressed, you know, stuff changed. And, like, see, I have that set for 180. But for some reason, and I don't have any minimum set, it spawned one almost immediately, and the old one hadn't even disappeared yet. And I'm hoping that that does not happen in game, and that it's only in Forge that it's bugging like that, because otherwise I'm gonna have to just change all of it. I'll probably just make them all fixed. But also, if I make them like respawn rate never, which is how I had it on the old version, you know, I liked that because they could move around and they could fall like that, and they would lay there for a while, and then they would go away. But if you put them to respawn rate never, see, that definitely wasn't 180 either on that one. But they disappear almost immediately, like as soon as they're damaged. Like these are here still, but if I put these to respawn rate never, as soon as they're damaged, like within like 15 seconds, they disappear, and then they're gone, which is what I want. But I don't want them to disappear immediately as soon as you throw a grenade at them. I want them to, like, you know, just on the old game, it takes a while for, you know, you move something like that, and I'm not sure exactly how long it took, but it was way longer. So I'm trying to figure out solutions to these problems, because they're new problems that I didn't have to, you know, overcome before. But, you know, the solutions might end up creating a new, hopefully better way of, you know, it working, like the mechanics of whatever I'm trying to do here with these. And what I'm trying to do essentially is create destructible terrain, like walls that can be destructible, and that as the game progresses and explosions and whatnot happens, you know, these bunkers change. And, you know, they originally, it was like if the match went on a really long time, since they didn't come back, you know, a whole section of this might be missing throughout the game, you know. And it's like, oh, later in the match, you know, lines can change because all these pieces will be missing, and I'm having a really hard time getting it to achieve that. So I'm just gonna try to kind of fudge it and make it its own thing, and just kind of abandon that whole concept, and just whatever concepts this game will allow me to do, come up with something similar. And right now I'm not going to experiment with that too much. I got it. It looks nice, and it works, and it'll be good enough for testing it out. But yeah, so it's still, you know, kind of works. But this is like this, and this will never go away until I end the game. Like, I can't start a new round. That's another thing that it's really broken. Like, not just a place to start, no, but if you start a new round, there's only one object here, there's only one teardrop there, and it doesn't matter. For some reason, you start a new round, that one is still there. I don't know what happens if you pick that one up. I'm not going to try it right now. It probably glitches out, I would imagine. Like the old game, it would like grab both of them and be all fucked up. I don't know what's going to happen if I tried to do that, but it's like, there's the runtime maximum is 20, but because of this one, I guarantee there's 21. So that's not supposed to happen. Like, maximum's 20. How can you have 21 when the maximum's 20? It's not like there's another one missing. So just super, super broken. I don't even know how all that got broken, because it's like they didn't even change anything about that. I felt like it's just probably something to do with the new system. And yeah, it's really annoying when you're trying to work on that stuff. I kept having to end the game, and every time, like on the old game where I would have normally just start a new round, I had to actually like end the whole match, like save the map, end the match, start the match over, wait for the loading screen, which is really annoying too, because there wasn't a loading screen on the old game. It would load while you're in the lobby, which made a lot more sense to me. And I could just complain about this surely for the rest of the stream, but I'm not. I'm gonna refrain. But it is really, really bad. And the only reason I'm even doing this is just because the game is so bad. It needs it. It needs help. So I've built all this the end of the last stream, and I don't like it at all. But I committed to it because I don't know what I'm gonna do here, and I want to play on it with it like this before I make any decisions. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep going with this, and somehow I'm gonna figure out a way to kind of add some cover and stuff like I had on the old one. I'm gonna look at the other one and kind of reference it a little bit for some ideas, but for now I'm just gonna leave that alone. And just, I got the platform, gonna kind of half-ass another one on this side, maybe like see if somebody will join the game and run a couple Slayer matches on here and see how it pans out. What do people do? But it sucks because you gotta put all the spawns in and stuff. It's gonna be a while before I can even do that, so I really have to just keep going on this side. And it sucks, so I'm gonna have to build that whole side up, and essentially I don't even know if I want it to be like this. I don't know if I want it to be that object. I don't know if I want it to be this height. I don't know if I want it to be this whole area or not. But right now it looks like I have enough budget to do the whole area, and if it plays good, I think that'll be neat. Have almost like a whole, it's almost gonna be like a whole second floor. And I don't know, on the old one I had a bunch of had these, bunch of these, you know, placed all around the edge. And there was kind of like some different heights and stuff too, because of all the objects. I wish I could show you that one, but it's on the 360, so I can't. But yeah, that one was a lot more interesting. I had like grab lift dumpster doors that were also elevators that worked very well, and they were on a timer, so there was a fusion coil that would drop, and there was actually, I had a whole little thing built over here. Although that was actually where I got the idea for the map. That was a different map, but but essentially I was using these weird crane things to catch the dumpster at the top. It was a nice, I used this one and I used that one, and I had to build these little didn't think these were the same height, but it looks like they are on this one. Essentially, I created an extra, like, room hidden, behind like a wall, that there was fusion coils back there that would spawn, and they would fall, and they would explode when they hit the ground. And I had it all like condensed into a really small area. Just, I forget exactly how I had it to where it would still fall and break, but I had it just perfect. And it would destroy a grav lift, and then when it destroyed it, it would respawn. But when it respawned, because there was a runtime minimum, so there had to be at least like 2 on the map, and there was 4 on the map. So then when that one was destroyed, it would spawn. Sometimes it would respawn right where it was. That didn't happen very often though, which was good. That's how I wanted it. And essentially, most of the time it would respawn on the other location, and that would engage the dumpster elevator, and then the dumpster elevator would go up, and then it would stay up for like 90 seconds or 60 seconds or something, and then another fusion coil would spawn in a different area that was attached to the elevator, and then it would destroy that one, and it would fall back down. And then when that one fell down and that one was destroyed, essentially it could like spawn one of these ones over here, and then it would make this platform go up and down. And I had like 2 or 3 of them, so it was like totally random, and so you never knew which one was going to spawn. And so you couldn't like time the lifts, because the same lift would sometimes go 3 times in a row, and then sometimes it would just alternate between them, but you just never could predict which one was going to go next or when it was going to go. And I had it set up to where none of them, there was like 3, but there was that 4th rogue grav lift that was just like, oh, it could spawn there, so then nothing changed. And I liked that randomness of it, but on that other build I did, I had it to where it was all timed out, and it was all on timers, and it was like every 45 seconds they would go up, and then they would come down for like 45 seconds, and they'd stay up for 45 seconds. And I forget exactly how I had all that going, but it was working nice. And I don't even know if you could do anything like that on this new game, but it worked good on the original. It was pretty interesting having all that. Now, I don't know, there's so many man cannons and stuff. I guess you could just make like a lift, probably like a better way with the man cannons or something. Yeah, sometime that's an interesting project, worth going over how I built all those. But I don't think I'm gonna do any of that for this one. I liked the door thing. So the way it worked, there's like 2 dumpsters inside of this area, and they would fall down and they would block off this opening. So it was like, you'd be running through here, and essentially half the time you could come out right here easily. But then and you could even be heading towards it, see it right there, and then it just drop down right in front of you and fuck up your momentum to where you had to go all the way around, or you had to go around this way. And it made it interesting, because you could evade people too. You could hear it go off, and you knew you had about a second to run under it, and you could run underneath it real fast, and hopefully it didn't crush you. And then it would drop down, and if there was somebody shooting at you, it would just drop down in front or behind you and save you sometimes. And I thought that was pretty cool. But so it's cover thing, I don't know how this map's gonna pan out without any sort of cover up here. We at least have to put something up here. But yeah, I kind of came up with this little extra way of getting up here. So you go up here, or you can go up here. And I'm not sure if I'm not sure about all this. Like the old map, you couldn't jump from this side to that side. You had to go across on that bridge. I kind of liked that. Like when you were in this part of your, or I guess it would be like this area of your side of the map. You know, it was like you were safe here. Like they had to really like do a full push, like come up that ramp or come across there or come up that lift to get up here to kill you. Now there's going to be this, but either way, it's like you really, you know, if you're here and you want to get over there, you know, you'd have to jump down and then like go all the way over there and up to get up here, which really I felt like made the map essentially feel a lot bigger. And for like capture the flag too, it was like, oh, you couldn't just like grab the flag and just like run across and jump across and then like capture it on that side. You had like go down and then go all the way back up, because this wasn't here on that map. I had these set for asymmetrical only, so they would only spawn in like one-sided variants, which I'm not sure if that's going to work on this game either. That's at the end of the build we start messing with that stuff. And yeah, on the other game too, you could change the game type within the game and like do assault and capture the flag and slayer and all your spawns like in game, and now you have to like back out to the lobby and switch all that stuff, and it's really just not efficient at all. But I'll get over that. I finally found, I'm in capture the flag now, and I finally actually found all of these things. Because they were hiding under these blocks, and I couldn't place that start know them, so it took me forever to figure out which ones they were under. And I'm sure it'll be like that for every game type, but I know where they're going to be, so I'm just going to pile them all in this corner until I'm ready to place them, because there was actually a glitch on Halo 3 where none of these objects accounted to your object limit. For some reason, because I don't know if it'd be like that for all of the other objects on Founder either. I never really was able to test it very in depth, but for all these things, you know, if you went and you just stored them all somewhere and then like grabbed them later and never deleted them, it would be extras, because essentially on my original build I hit the object limit because I was budget glitched and I couldn't place any more objects, and I had some of these left over from certain game types, but I deleted some in other game types, and I realized that if I went in and deleted these, it wouldn't let me place anymore. I could delete all of these and it wouldn't give me, 7 more objects to place. It would still say cannot place object, object limit reached, too many objects on map or whatever. But I couldn't replace these either, because it would just continue to say too many objects on map. And you could delete like one crate and then you could place one of these, Like that was it, or like one gun. And I was like, what? And I realized that as long as you never deleted them, you could get to the end of the map and get to that object limit, and then you could just switch game types, and then you could go and just grab all those and place them, and even if you were full. And so I'm not going to delete them. I'm going to put them all over here, and hopefully if there is some sort of object limit on here, then I'll be able to utilize that glitch again and get a couple more objects. I mean, really, like, if you look, so this is capture the flag, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 in capture the flag, 11 in assault, and territories and whatnot is probably going to have even a few more because there's more of these. And oddball might have about the same, but at least I'd say 10 or 11 per game type. And there's at least like 5 or 6 game types that you have these in. And then like King of the Hill and stuff has like a couple of these and stuff too. So by the end, that could be 50, 60, maybe even like 100 objects extra. On like on the original game, that's how many it was. So if that helps out, because I'm not sure what happens when you get to the end of the budget here, but I'll find out, I bet, by the end of this build. So I'm just gonna put them all there, and yeah, if it doesn't help me, then whatever. So my next step here, pretty much before I can run a test on this, is to finish this area. And yeah, building back here was a nightmare. I don't even know, like, I probably shouldn't even put this wall in, because now everything has to come in through this way. But there really isn't much left. I put all these pieces up to see. This is something cool about this game, that you can cover up all this maybe, and maybe I will if I have extra stuff. But I always wanted to cover up that stuff on the walls, make it to where it was like grenades could bounce off it nicely on a lot of my builds on this map. But it really uses a lot of pieces, and none of these pieces were here, so it really was really hard to get any pieces back here that would even work for that. So I'm trying it out on this build because, and also I used to use a container here, and now there's this piece, so I'm actually this is allowing me to have extra, couple feet of play area to make this a whole kind of like chamber now back here. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this space. Maybe I'll put the well, can't really put a flag spawn there, but I don't, like, if this was closed off, then you could put a flag spawn there, and that would be crazy. You'd have to come all the way out like this. And I do have this here, but I don't think many people are going to know about that. And then that's a one-way, which I like that a lot. That was on the original map too. Like, you can't just dip around and come back up this way. You still have to go up the long way and go all the way through. So if you're, assaulting the enemy, then they're only going to expect you to come up this ramp. Like, you can't flank them from behind up this hole, right? And then you would have to come all the way to here. Like, if this was closed, but this is not. I don't think I'm going to do that. I like this because it really, on the original Foundry, or on most maps on Foundry, it's like once you get to this point of the map, getting that doorway is quick. You just come up here and then you run over there. And this having to go all the way this way, and then go all the way in here, and then go into here, and double back. I mean, it really increases the the map size, like the length of your run, and makes this whole area back here like a whole nother part of the map. Because it's like, if I'm back here, you know, you can't just get back here quickly. Like, you have to go all the way around to come back here and kill me. So, you know, if you respawn way over there, it's going to take you a while. Like, by that time, I'm probably going to be long gone. You're not going to know where I'm at. So, you can see just running from this side to the other side of the map. You know, it takes significantly longer than it normally would. So that, you know, really adds. And then you have like, oh, okay, then you can come, then you're not even, like, you got to go all the way up here and stuff too. There's really no way to cheat it. This thing kind of lets you cheat it. I'm not crazy about this connecting part here, but I do like it. And I've deleted it and rebuilt it like 6 times on the old build, and I kind of like resided on like it needs to be there, at least for certain game types, because it just I don't know, but I want to test it in game, because if you're spawning here, you know, and I don't know where the objectives are going to be yet, but if you're spawning here and you can just run across over there and be over there, and then all of a sudden, like, the spawn side switch or something like that, which I don't really know how any of that works. I'm gonna try and figure all that out. That was like the plan at the old build, right at the end, to figure out how all those respawn areas and stuff actually function. I might have to do that on the other game, so I can know what it's supposed to be, see if it actually works on this one. But yeah, I don't know. I might change all this, but for now I'm leaving it, and I have it. I like this. But yeah, even if you wanted to go up that, it's like, I don't know. It really isn't that much of a shortcut, because if you're right here, it's like, oh, well, I can go up this side, cut across there, but you could have just gone up this side anyways, you know, if it didn't exist, and it would have taken the same amount of time. So but yeah, if anybody ends up watching this or something, feel free to comment or message me. I'm not really sure what's all possible, but tell me your ideas, tell me your input, tell me what you think, because that was kind of like, I wanted people to beta test this map, and I wanted feedback on, like, you know, the gameplay. Like, did you like certain aspects? Did you not like certain aspects? Like, did you experience things like kept spawning in a certain area no matter what, or people kept spawning killing you in a particular area, things like that, right? So hopefully, you know, people that play this are going to be able to give me some feedback, but also, like, on the build, you know, seeing it progress, it's going to be nice, because you can see, oh, you know, he was doing this, and then he changed it, you know, but it's like, maybe you thought that was a good idea, and I should have left it the same, or I should go back to that. And so anything like that, you know, I want input, because I want the map to be balanced, and I want it to be fair. And, you know, sometimes you just need more perspectives, like this whole area. Like, originally on the map, you couldn't jump up here. The original map, you couldn't jump up onto this platform, but you could run, these weren't here, and you could run around it and get up to the ramps, and it was a lot different. So I've decided that I think you should be able to jump up here, but maybe you should have to run all the way around. I don't know. When I test it, time will tell. Like, should this be here? Should it be solid? You know, like under here, or like there's all sorts of little changes like that I am open to any sort of ideas or input. You know, or if you think even like something with this or really anything, you know, like should these connect? Should they not connect? Like I don't want people to be able to jump from this side to this side at all. And if I gotta solve that by just like putting walls in here, and maybe that's why I'm just gonna do that for now, because when I test it, I definitely want to test it without being able to jump across there. I don't like that. I want it to where if you spawn up here, somebody spawns over there, you have to at least jump down here and then like go all the way up. You know, it'd be on this side, but like go all the way up to get there. You know, so they can anticipate the point of attack, like where they're going to be getting attacked from, and then the spawns can kind of reflect that to where when you spawn, it's pointed that direction, and it's not like you're going to be getting like shot in the back as soon as you spawn or something. But yeah, I think for now, and this is something that I didn't do on the old map, probably because I just would have never had enough pieces. And I liked that there was a line of sight here, so I might switch these to a fence wall. Yeah, another thing on the old game that, so you used to be able to, like, move objects up and down. Like, I could look at them, and instead of, like, just moving the object at the same plane, it would, if I looked this way, it actually would push it down towards the floor if I moved forward, you know? And so, like, this gap here, an easy way to close that is because it's like, oh, there's really no way to adjust the up and down except for the bumpers. But you could like angle up like this, and then you could push forward, and you could get like those minute adjustments. So because it's like, oh, here it's like, oh, the bumper, it's like, yeah, that's too much. Like one click of the bumper, that's the least you can do. And then you click it back up. Yeah, and that's one. I mean, you can touch it a little bit and sometimes get it to go a little bit less, but you can see it's pretty big movements there, and so that was my remedy for that. But you can't do that on this game, so my new remedy for it is to click the bumper and then click A almost immediately, like that. And if you just do that, which is, it's kind of obnoxious because it keeps centering the crosshair, like the object I'm working on is this one up here. But for some reason, like it looks like I'm holding the one in front of me, but it's like, no, I'm working on this one, the one I can't see. But yeah, you can just hit the bumper and the A button at about the same time and just inch it down and actually get those little minute adjustments like that. So that's my new remedy for it. And I probably did that on the old game too, essentially. Sometimes if it made sense, but most of the time I just did it the other way. And yeah, it works it's not as precise. You can't watch what you're doing. See, the other method was nice because you could watch what you were doing while you did it, and actually like just do it the first time, like do it once and just see it. Now you're kind of going blind, and you kind of just have to like guess and then go look at it and then go grab it again. But yeah, anybody who's struggling with stuff like that, who builds, like, hopefully things I've been discussing will help you through some of those frustrations or with ways of working around. And anybody who has experienced this, who's come up with any better solutions to any of this stuff, I don't know if anybody even does this anymore, but yeah, please tell me that stuff, because I do like to build this forge stuff, and if it was easier, like smoother, less of a headache on here, you know, where I could actually go fast like I used to, I could probably rebuild everything I've ever made way quicker on this game because of all the angled stuff, and bring a lot of maps. I never was able to transfer my maps over to this game, and so really most of them would need to be finished and rebuilt anyways. I always ran out of objects. So how's that look? I kind of like that. I don't think it really needs to stick out that far anyways. That's probably enough, right? I don't think anybody's gonna be able to. I mean, if you can jump around that, I'll give it to you at that point. I think for now, I'm just gonna do that for the test and see, you know, how that plays out. And I don't really care if you wanna grenade jump up there or something. I don't think I'm gonna put any grab lifts on this map. That's just gonna be problems. But yeah, if you want a grenade jump up there, I don't really care about that because you're gonna be about dead after you do that. So, you know, that's what it takes to, you know, and I don't know, somebody might be really good, they could grab the flag, and that was the old map. This was kind of like an island, this area, and these didn't really, they kind of actually like curved back this way, and so you could jump from here to that island, but you could never jump from the island back up to the other wall. But if you had the flag, the speed difference, like there really was no way you could jump to that island. And so even if you like dropped it and threw it, like you really couldn't get it to land up there. And so essentially you still had to like just drop down and then go up and then like walk up these and everything. So I liked that, but you know, it's gonna have to be tested in Slayer before I get into any of the objective stuff. So, you know, like you kind of got to keep the objectives in mind when you're going into the game, like going into the build, but you want the map to work on Slayer, and then once you get it working in Slayer, you go and you start playing the objectives, and then I always find it just works best to just test them all and like see which ones work and which ones don't work. Like a map like this, you know, you're probably not gonna do one bomb. You're probably not gonna do one flag because it's all gonna be symmetrical. But then, you know, if I did one bomb, maybe I want it to be like not symmetrical, like maybe in one bomb, the bomb spawns back in this area, and this is one team's area spawn, and the other team spawns over here. And I think that's actually a cool idea. And I don't know if you can do that. Separate the spawns between one bomb and two bomb, or neutral bomb and stuff. But I saw there is like a couple different choices on the menu. So if I can, then I'm gonna do that. And yeah, so you go ahead and you just play them, and then you see how they play, and then you adjust it from there, you know. And if the flag spawns, you know, you gotta keep moving them. But essentially, you just figure out what works and what doesn't work, and whatever doesn't work, then you gotta address, well, why isn't it working? And then you change the map to accommodate that. So, you know, whatever is causing it to not work, how can we resolve that? And then, you know, how can we also implement that resolution to where it doesn't affect the Slayer and it doesn't affect the other game modes? And if you can achieve that to where you can make those other game types work with, you know, the Team Slayer spawns and everything still being the same and still working well, and essentially it might even like improve your Slayer spawns, but like, you know, on Capture the Flag, on the Pit, for example, because this whole map is kind of actually like inspired by the Pit. That's one of my favorite maps, and the Pit is a very good map because it's symmetrical, but it takes a really long time to get from one side of the map to the other. And you would think that Foundry is smaller than the Pit. Like, it feels way smaller. The player count is less, I think. And if you run from one side of the map to the other, you can pretty much go to anywhere on Foundry, like way faster than the Pit. But if you actually measure it, they're pretty much the same size. Like I think Foundry, when I did it, it was like one or two of these blocks or a couple crates longer this way than the Pit was. And so I was like, well, that means that this map is big enough, you know, to build something like the Pit. You just have to really utilize the space and create levels and create walls to where you have to go around and create these lines to where it's like, oh, now instead of, you know, running from one side of the map, like you have to go up and then you got to go down and then you got to go back up to get there, kind of thing, right? And so it makes it longer, even though it's just the smaller space. And yeah, like back to what I was saying on Pit, when you play Capture the Flag, it spawns you down in that hole in the Pit. But when you play Team Slayer, it spawns you on the ledge, like on that little, I don't know what it's called, but I mean, it's just your regular Slayer spawn on the Pit. But it's different on MCC, I noticed, and that was bugging the fuck out of me, because when you spawn on MCC on the Pit, you spawn at the Capture the Flag spawns in Slayer. Like, you always spawn at those spawns. And if that was a personal choice that they made, I can respect that decision, because it might be better, it might be less broken that way, or it might just be that little bit of a difference to kind of throw the OG players off, kind of change things up. But fuck, I mean, there's nothing worse than when you respawn on that map and you're ready to start running forward and you have to turn around and jump up on that ramp and run up there, because it's like they have you facing, it's like, oh, be like, you know, if I spawned you in here in this area, and to get out of here you have to go up this, right? But every time you spawn in this direction, right? And this would be like a wall. So then it's like every time you spawn, you have to turn around to get out. Like, that's stupid as fuck. Might as well just spawn me with my back towards the enemy, so at least I can just run as soon as I spawn. So I do not want to have to turn around every time I spawn. And yeah, I'm gonna make sure that my map doesn't have any stupid stuff like that. So hopefully it's better than 343's stuff. I hate those new freaking maps. You know, I've do all my builds. I'm inspired by Bungie stuff, and I've really studied it a lot. And stuff like the Pit and Guardian, you know, they're just so good. And I've really tried to figure out, like, what makes this map good? Why does this map work? Why do these other maps not work? You know, why does everybody want to play on those maps? Why are they so much better? I like them too. And, like, you know, you look at the Pit and you look at Guardian and you compare it to, I don't know, like some of those DLC maps like Assembly, you know, and they just don't compare. And you're just like, well, you look at Assembly and you're like, well, it's a good map too. I mean, it's all symmetrical and everything. It's like, but why is it flow so much worse? Why does everybody hate that map? Nobody likes Assembly. I've never liked it. Nobody wants to play that map. Why does that map suck, but something like the Pit is good? And like, you look at it and it's like, they're real similar. Like, the weapons, real similar. You know, they're both symmetrical, but it's just little details. And yeah, I don't know. Guardian is a good example of them. And you really just got to look at it, and there's really no way to explain it all, you know, in words in a short amount of time, or even maybe at all. But the more you study it, the more you understand it, and kind of like why it works. And, you know, a lot of those things that work, you know, might have been accidental. You know, it wasn't like they knew it was going to be that good, but it was good. And, you know, some of those Halo 2 maps are really good like that too. And so tried to study those too, like Lockout, way better than Blackout. You know, it's very subtle. And what is it, Heretic or whatever that's called on Halo 2 version, prefer that way more to the Halo 3 version. And so like I'll pay attention. Why is this version better? What's the differences? And gives you answers normally. So back to the build. It's looking okay. I think that's actually, it's going to be a good area to spawn back here, because I was one of the things I was running into was when you spawned up here, people would be over there and they'd just shoot you immediately and kill you, and it was getting annoying. So I already have run enough tests on the old, you know, channels beta on Halo 3 that I already know that is a problem, just from the way that plays out. So my solution to that, at least for now, just to kind of get things rolling here so I can test this, is going to be just kind of slap some of these up here. Oh, there it was. The most annoying thing in the world. And yeah, didn't remember to set my respawn to short either. You know, at least Bungie gave you a 3-second default respawn on Forge, because they're sensible. Like, why should I have to wait 5 seconds to respawn when I'm by myself? And yeah, I think 343 just hates me. Anybody who is my type of player, they were just like, yeah, fuck them. Hopefully I can say that. Why it did that, I have no idea. Don't care either. I think that's enough for a test. I don't even actually want those there. Like, really, I want to be able to walk on this green thing here, but you know, who knows? Maybe I'll change it. Like, maybe I'll extend those up higher and curve it all the way. I think, I don't know, that's actually a pretty good idea. I might just go ahead and do that. See how it looks here. And people say, when this came out, they're like, oh, this is so much faster than Ghost Forging, you know? You can just go phase it right away. But I would put it to the test, because I can, wow, that looks nice right there. It almost looks like it's all one. I could create an object and have it Ghost Forged and have it in the orientation that I wanted it to be placed while I was doing it, to where there wasn't any adjusting hardly at all. So fast. I think that the amount of time it takes you to spawn this, rotate it, this new slow way, and hit X, go down to here, switch that. I think that if you timed it compared to at least me doing it on the other game, it would be the same. Like, I would bet that I could do it faster than somebody who doesn't know what they're doing on this game. But I bet if somebody was really good at it and is practiced on this game, I bet they could beat me. But I doubt that it would be a negligible difference. You know, it'd be like if you did it over the course of 30 objects or 30 minutes or whatever. You know, it would be like, oh yeah, they saved themselves like 1 second per object, or maybe not even. So like at the end of the 30 minutes, it'd be like a couple minutes more efficient, maybe. But then it's like all this headache. Like, see, on the old game, easy. I could just go. Before I Ghost Forged it, God, it didn't like me doing that. Can't even get out of here. But on the old game, it's like, okay, so if I wanted it to be this angle, I already have an object that angle, so I would just place the object and I would rotate it very easily, because it's another game. Do all this shit, and I would just push it forward with my joystick, because you push it forward too. I can't even hardly do it on this one to even show it, but then I'm just slam it up against that one, right? And if you just centered it, you slam it up against like that, it's like bam. For the same angle, right? This is actually, I'm going to do this now, see if this is any, even just doing it as crudely as I did that way, it's like it still might be better. And then grab it, and then I would, the other game, you would just go bam, bam, bam. That, on this one, you go. So actually, it'd be like 2 X's, 1 click of the stick, and 1 click of the stick that way. And then now it's 1 X, a right trigger, A button, and a click of the stick. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons to complete that. 5 steps. And if it was the old game, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and like you're kind of like double tapping B. So yeah, a couple more clicks the other way, and yeah, I'm phased now. So yeah, it's up. And to just show how lined up it is, I mean, it's like, now it's not perfect. You can tell it's a little bit off. But like, it's good when it's a little bit off because it you know, you can see on some of these objects how it's glitching out right there because it's so perfect it doesn't know which skin to show. And when you would do it that other way, it was just off just enough to where it would yeah, like that, like it you know, you would pick which one to show. Now essentially that's off just enough to where I'm gonna man, see, that's, it's like I just want the height to match the other one, but the counter doesn't work, so I gotta do it the other way. But I think if I touch that, yeah, it fixes, puts it where I want. And to get that to match, it's just gonna be a couple clicks like that. And look, it even matches there too. Does that look? I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna kind of hybrid it up here. Get a couple tall ones, a couple half ones there. And that'll be part of that test. And why is this so off? See, this is there it goes. I liked how that lip there. That one's off too. And it's like, how is that off when this one is the exact same? Well, I couldn't tell you. But what I do know is that if I go and I turn this off and move it manually like that, and then turn it back on, and don't go the wrong direction. No, it's not gonna let me do that one. So I'm just gonna have to manually do that one. Couldn't tell you why. I used the increments for the bottom, and if I click on the bottom one, I would bet that it would be on an increment just as this one is, but I'm not gonna because it'll change it if it's not, and then I'll have to fuck with that one too. So, all right, that's good. I think that is enough to test things. I don't think I'm set on that at all. I'd really not in love with that design at all. But it's enough for a test here. And who knows, if it plays well, I might like it more and might be like, You know what? That's what I'm gonna do. But it must be something with these single boxes is different. If I like this, then it's like, okay, let's make it better. Let's elaborate on that. It's like maybe maybe I don't want to like this. Maybe I don't know. But I think that looks a lot more filled in now. Doesn't look like a big empty space. Let's put like one. Offset from the wall, but it's like running in line like somebody placed it there. Be some nice little angles there. Just like this side's wall. I guess I deleted something there. Fuck if I know. I don't remember deleting that. Yeah, see, there it was. Where in its natural environment. It's like you used to be able to spawn something there. Oh shit. 7. No, 6. Now for these big flat areas, it definitely is. It is nice being able to do those numbers, but it's kind of obnoxious if it doesn't line up with something else you had to do by hand. So kind of have to plan it all out if you want to be able to utilize that stuff. I still have to bring it down just a little. Alright, I think that's good enough for some spawns stuff, yeah. Fuck, it's gonna take me forever to do that other side. Ooh, I bet. Yeah. Actually, this is gonna make this seem better. It's like a tease now. You can't jump that, probably. You'd have to be stupid on jumping to do that. But no, there's no way. Now, you can shoot at him still. So we'll go ahead, we'll just leave that. And this is actually, if I can place something on this side, wherever it ends up, I might be able to put something over top of that, like something like that, and make that to where it's kind of not there, and then just do the same thing on that side, to where that thing always is annoying because it's like, oh, well, this side has that, and this side doesn't have it, so it's not symmetrical, creates all these variables, like with that weird platform thing, it was like you could almost jump from that thing and cheat it, so maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll leave it. Maybe it'll be cool that it's there. It kind of looks like it's gonna be. But yeah, I think that's gonna be good for that test. And I'd say this wall's probably gonna stay there at least until I get to the point of capture the flag. And then it might become an issue to where it's like, if it takes too long to take the flag from one side to the other, maybe if it's too difficult, maybe it'll be okay to jump across there, and it'll be like, okay, the wall's not even that bad, or whatever. The wall's not necessary. I think I can make this jump. I don't think I can make it in a reasonable amount of time. I'd say that's possible. Some sort of curve jump off of this thing. So, I don't know. Yeah, oh yeah. Doing that all day. Oh yeah, I cheated it, ran off that a little bit. But yeah. I'm just gonna move that out a little bit. Definitely faster to do it by hand than mess with those coordinates. If somebody can do that, then I'll take a video of that or something. That'd be cool. Yeah, that's annoying. Oh, it's annoying. It was really frustrating me when I started today, but it gets less annoying as the build goes on, because I'm getting forming new habits. I used to, most of this stuff, struggling with it because, like, well, I knew where I could place objects, and I knew where I couldn't place them and create them. And areas like this, like, yeah, I could spawn an object here, and if it didn't spawn it right here, it would just be like behind me, and so I would turn around and it'd be right there, and then you could just move it in place. And since you can't do that anymore, I'm forcing some new habits, and once I'm getting in the habit of the new stuff, like, okay, I just have to like look this way every time I make an object now. Like, okay, that's not too bad. If I can get that habit going, it's like when I start fresh for the day, it's like, the old habits start coming back. But once I get into it, it's like, okay, getting in the new habit during the day, and it starts becoming a habit. But after I go to sleep or whatever, it's like, and I'm fresh, start doing it the old way again. Just because it fucks with you, because your muscle memory, because everything looks exactly the same visually, so you just want to do it. These lights are helping a little bit, because I never had this lighting on the old one, so it's making it feel a little different. I think I'm gonna change the lights. Maybe I kind of want to have this side red and like that side blue or something. But I kind of like this side being red and that side being blue colored, and not necessarily the teams. It's not really related to the team thing. But then if it was like that weird one bomb shit and stuff, then it would maybe work. So, and that would be like the defenders. So we'll see. I'm gonna leave it, and yeah, until it's like, that's something that might be like one of the last things I even address on the build, you know, if I'm gonna change it. For now, I like it, and the reason I did it this way is because of this light that I covered up here. Actually, I think it's still here. So, yeah, because of this. Because I always wanted to have these in a build exposed, just as I always wanted to have this light incorporated somehow in like a hallway, and it just never was practical. It never worked. But on this game, it's like, oh, I can cheat it. I can kind of, if I cover all this up, kind of look like that this light is like making this area red. Like it even just, it kind of looks like that is my light. And that was why I put them on both sides up here, and kind of still leaning into that. Like it really doesn't even, I'm not even missing that light really, and I'm digging this color over here. Like, and it's always so dark over here, and I'm digging. I got this one. I did not know that this went so high up like this. Like you can place objects up in there or something. That was kind of weird. That came out really nice. And then on this side, I got it up. I went ahead and just stuck it. Yeah, I stuck it up here, really high up on there, because it was that height that was giving me the shading that I was digging, and you really can't tell the difference of the placement. But I'm digging it because like even like all this weird stuff, like flex it. And I wish I could get it to where it would be like everything like this was on one side blue and everything was on one side red. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that though. So, but just the way it is now, it looks nice having like these weird strips of color in the floor where like you normally would have never had it, but it's not like reflecting off everything. And then over here too, like that. There were some good instances of this wall, or just all this stuff right here. Like even this thing's showing it up, which is awesome. It's showing the red, you know, from way over there. But like just, you know, that really just makes things pop. There's the blue. It's really about the angle of the light versus where you're looking. It'd probably be really hard to get everything to be red and everything to be blue on one side. So I'm probably just going to leave it this way. But even like right here, it's like, yeah, you're getting the red and the blue. And it just really makes this area pop and feel like when I'm in here, especially on this side where I'm done, it's like I really don't feel like I'm on Foundry anymore. And that's kind of what I want. I want people to spawn in here and think they're on like Orbital, or they'll be like, what map am I on? And you'll be on my map channels. And if I have enough, I might even go so far as to kind of like, I like how it looks, so do something over this, cover all that up. But I do like that you can see people through there, and you can, you know, it's like it's a vantage point. You can't shoot them, but you can be like, see somebody running down there, and jump down here, or you can be down here, and you can see that somebody, see this way especially, see people are in here. So for now I'm leaving that because I like that. Did all this here, that took way longer than it should have. So that's another area where it's like, okay, just like in that back hallway, it's like you really can't get a good grenade off of here. Sometimes it gets caught and shit. It's really unpredictable. There's all these weird edges. Jump up here and stuff. And really I don't like any of that. It's kind of cool that you can do that on this map, but I've always wanted to cover that up, just as that stuff. But it really is a waste of pieces normally. So yeah, tested this out. I'm not sure if this is going to be the object that stays, like if I want to reskin it, but I think that looks pretty good. I kind of like it. Kind of looks like some sort of ventilation or something. There's probably like twice as many as I would like, but I can't change that. And yeah, it came out good down here. Got some sort of tilt. I don't know what the hell is going on with that. I don't know how the hell every single one of those is off the same way. This is another thing that's getting used to. You gotta spawn an object, die, respawn, the long respawn. So you gotta come out here and you gotta spawn an object, and you gotta hit B, and you gotta go down to rotation snap, and you gotta turn this motherfucker off, or on 5 really, because I have a drafty joystick, so if I turn it off it moves them. And then you have, before I can even grab these, because if I grab those, or, well, if I grab anything else, and it's on 90, it'll fuck it all up, like these and shit. And you gotta replace it. But, I think these have moved. So, yeah. And that's, you gotta re-grab them and replace them after you do everything, and you get all the adjustments and all the fucking decimals, you know, all these. Once you get all these where you want them, for some reason when you're finally done, the object does not place right, and so you have to come through and you gotta pick them up. And you'll see right here, you pick them up and you set them down. You just pick them up and put them back. And the game realizes that something is wrong with it, and then it fixes it, which is good. But at least, it's really annoying that you can't see it, but it does work. It just doesn't work right. But let's see if I can see it while I'm grabbing it. That's grab it down here. Oh yeah, okay, puts it there. Well, that's how you get it in the center, huh? Weird. Grab it down low. See, I'm learning how to accommodate for all these broken things, make it work again. But yeah, once you pick them all up, see, now you can see, now that I've picked them all up, my little flashlight on it may be that. Oh, this one still needs to be picked up. Yep, ooh, that one moved a lot. You could really see that one move. Once you get adjusted. See, I didn't move them at all. I just picked them up and set them back down. And now that I've done that, you can see that. Oh, there's the light. Yeah, that's. I love that little light. You can see that all those are perfectly in line now, just like you want. And then, oh, there's one that's off still. And guessing it's probably this one, but if I'm just gonna grab them all the way out. But yeah, you can see it's off. So I'm gonna grab it, replace it. Anybody who uses this light like I'm using it right now when they're forging, I'd like to get to know them. I didn't even know this light was a thing until like last year. Like, I just never see it normally, but if you get on the ground, you're like, wait, there's a light here. And yeah, I don't get it just right. Like, I can't get it that way, but for some reason, get it this way. Yeah, zoomed in. That's the trick. Ooh, look at that. This game lets you go really far with it zoomed in. Yeah, look at that. I like that. But yeah, it doesn't show up on everything. Look at that. It really brings stuff out to like this stuff especially. Pack of marbles. Maybe. Pack of cigarettes. Good tool though. I think it's an overlooked feature. One of the many. So yeah, those are done now. Ooh, for some reason, I think that's the pieces behind this. It's like I'm clipping on them, but not enough to care. That's a little obnoxious. I gotta move these out. Smudge, you know, when I'm going through the final adjustments, I won't be upset about that. I mean, I feel like almost everything on the map at some point is gonna have to get picked up and replaced at the very end of the build, just to make sure it's all proportionate. Like, I want the same distance between here and here. And I think I have that already. But like, this one comes right there on this line. Follow that line over to here. You can see that this one is completely different. And yesterday I actually had it all exactly the same for those. Like, I placed them and I just eyeballed it all and it just was exactly the same. And I was like, fuck yeah. But I think earlier today I accidentally picked this one up and I just slapped it back down, and that's where it ended up. Let's see. Yeah, and I can't really just move it without changing everything right now. Yeah, move it a little. Those dots there need to be about, call it a halo inch in my head. It's definitely not an inch. I have no idea what it is, but about an inch is what I'm gonna call it, away from this piece. Yeah, now that's right, and now it's closer to that side. It's still off, but oh, that's right. I moved it earlier because it was off with this. So yeah, this area especially, like all these are gonna have to get just adjusted, you know, and you're not gonna be able to use the coordinates on any of it. You're just gonna have to eyeball it all and just kind of keep adjusting it until it all lines up on the floor, and then all these line up together, and then essentially if it lines up on the floor and then it's like lines up right here, all that should be symmetrical on both sides, as much as I'm concerned about. You know, really, I want you to be able to do whatever you do on this side on that side, and it be exactly the same. Yeah. The problem, like, if you go and you watch the very beginning of my build, it's all fast forwarded on the clip, but I'll just explain what I did essentially really quick here. There's it's bugging again. I placed objects, you know, off of that wall, because that wall is true and flat, real good flat wall. I would build off of that the whole build on the air game, you know, for the Ghost Forge, because those other walls are not flat. And so I built off that, and I placed so many containers, you know, and I counted them all, and then I took the one out of the middle, and that's my center point, right? And it was actually a little bit over here, because I went all the way back to the well, I didn't go all the way back to the wall, though. If I had, the center would be more like back there. So, but yeah, it was like right here, and then I moved it to here because it just felt right, and yeah. So you have to build off of the center here, because if you build off the walls, I used to do this a lot. I would start on the walls, and I would place crates, and I would place like 1, 2, 3, you know, 4, 5 crates that way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crates that way, and I'd be like, okay, so I'm 5 crates off that wall, and then I would place my object, and then I would like come like 5 crates off this wall, and I would place my object, and it was all good until one day I realized that this map is not symmetrical. This area here is narrow, as you can see. It's very narrow. If you come over to this side, this area is very, very wide. Like on the other side, this block fills the void. Like more than fills the void. You cannot fit a dumpster back there. This side, you can fit a dumpster back there, and then some. And so at first I was like, this piece isn't in the center? No, this piece is in the center. If you look over here, there's a large gap here. On this side, you can actually shoot down there. Oddly enough, no idea why that is the case. There is no barrier there. Like, you can actually glitch it. You can put a turret down there, and you can actually get into this area in game with a turret. Pretty neat. Come over on this side. And anybody who's ever built on this map, maybe this will solve part of your mystery. But yeah, this one right up against it. Like, you cannot fit a grenade between there, and it will not explode down there. There's no way to do it. I've tried a lot, and you can't even really see down there. So that was one of the first things I noticed. So I noticed that was different. And then I started trying to figure out with this whole platform, like, is it longer on one side? Why is this like this? And this railing was like a key to figuring out which side was worse. you know, with this offset. And as I continued building, I found more of these weird subtleties. Like on this side, you have this large space right here. They put a wire spool here in matchmaking, and it fits there really nice. Then when you come on this side, what the fuck? You're like, well, that's a little different. I mean, that isn't just a little different. That's like, that isn't just like that little spot up there. Like, this is like a whole crate. You know, just to show the difference. It's like, okay, so if I place a crate here, I can't even get it up against the wall all the way. And I'm not even really concerned about it yet. That's the fucker. But yeah, it's wider than a crate here. Significantly wider. Go over here. And don't need to show you with the crate, but just for a visual reference, yeah, that's how much difference we're talking off that wall, right? So that's like half of the width of a crate. So we're a whole half of a crate, like a whole block, like cube, narrower on this side of the map, you know, from here. So if you build off this wall, once you get to the center, you will be that much off of the center, you know, and it'll fuck with you. And then like the same thing with these doorways, you can't even see them now. But there's this large gap here between the doorway on one side, and then on the other side, it's dead even. You know, there's a really narrow, and like from the doorway to the wall too, there's a one side is about that with the half of that crate different. And yeah, the doorways are they're not centered to these sides. It's centered maybe on one side, but not the other side. And this paint too, like this paint is lined up with the door, right? And so yeah, this is where the doorway is on this side. Oh, that's really annoying. And yeah, if you come over to this side, you can see clearly. So I have this in the center. Like this crate is actually centered. I mean, within one width of the bar, it's in the center. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's fine. And yeah, it's huge difference. It's not just something you can ignore. So yeah, that's where the edge of the doorway is there, and then this is where the edge of the doorway is on this side. So if you build off those doorways or anything like that, it's not symmetrical, and the distance between here and here is different on that side than from here to here. I think it's smaller on that side, but don't quote me on that. And yeah, also there's this weird, oh no, it's not doing it today, but yesterday for some reason, after I'd done all this stuff, I was trying to, like, this paint just disappeared. I thought that was actually how it was supposed to be, but no, now the paint's there again today. But yeah, so yeah, there's numerous builds I built off of these walls here, this wall, that wall, that wall, and I would build it towards the center, and I would just build everything the same on both sides off the wall, and I would get to the center, and it would always be screwed up, and I'd always have to fudge everything and kind of tweak it all, and nothing was ever symmetric, like perfectly symmetrical. And I realized, fuck, like, screw this map, and how crappily they built it, like all this stuff not being symmetrical up here too, this weird garbage and this weird thing and this stupid bulkhead that isn't over here on this side. And if I just put my own crate in the center and I just build off, so that's the very first thing on this video I do, is I put my own crate in the very center and I get it perfectly squared, and I build off of that crate, and I build everything and distance everything off of that thing that I put in the center of the map. And then so everything's 5 crates this way off my center point. Everything would be like 5 crates this way off my center point. And then everything's the same. Now the distance between here and here is not the same. Like you can see, it's 3 squares there. That's not even a full square. And on this side, it's less than 3 squares. And I can't change this wall, but I'll ignore this wall and that difference there, so long as everything out here is the same. Because that little bit of space difference back here, like, yeah, I could actually fill this in and accommodate for that. Like, I mean, yeah, it's pretty much just the width of that crate, of half of one, you know, if you just built a false wall here. But I really don't care. Like, a lot of Bungie stuff isn't perfectly symmetrical anyways, clearly. So that's fine with me if it's a little bit different. You know, it kind of adds to the feng shui of things. But yeah, if anybody's ever experienced that, that's why. And if you build off of this thing and build off the center and the center one that's covered up over here, those are the best center points to build off of, and those will give you a symmetrical build if you utilize those. So yeah, that's a lot of hours of doing this to figure that one out. Oddly enough, all this back here is symmetrical. As far as I've been able to tell, there is no differences from any of these hallways from one side to the other, even with all those discrepancies. I did notice that when I built all this, I pretty much did exactly the same on both sides. Like, this is right up against this. This is spaced from there, the same distance. And for some reason, I ended up with a little bit extra width of that wall sticking into on one of these sides. But I don't know. I moved everything about a 1/4 inch, and I fanned one side out one way, and then I scrunchied in the other side, and you can't even tell now. It looks the same, but I'm not sure if it was this opening that was smaller or if it was like where it was placed, but something is different with this opening from one side to the other. But it's a negligible difference. It's like, yeah, I think you can see it between the light, but it's about the width of one of these bridges different. So that didn't bother me too bad, but I did notice that, and was trying to at least not have this giant thing sticking out in the bridge, the stairway or whatever. So there's a little bit. I've been kind of just summarized everything I've been wanting to say during the whole build, just try to group it all into one little chat there. So if anybody is curious about what was going on, or trying to learn from this, or wanting to get into forging, I tried to just all condense everything I've been thinking for the last couple days into that little spiel there. Pretty long still, but yeah, hopefully seeing what I've done and kind of talking about it like that, and some of what I was doing makes a little more sense as to why I was doing it. Some of it, being that it was relevant on the old game, and so it's a habit, and some of it is it's just I know what I'm doing from the old game, and so I'm doing it on this game, even though it doesn't make sense because yeah, you've got all these new features, but it's like what I've been doing, like I'm way more precise. Like I would be measuring. I like this map a lot more in the sandbox because it's like, oh, they put all those grid lines in the sandbox, great. But like I'd be measuring down to these little dots and like half dots. Like, oh, if it's in the center of one of these, then the other side's got to be in the center. Or if it's like 2/3 of the way into the dot, and the other side's got to be 2/3 of the way into the dot. And yeah, like 2/3 of one of those little squares there. I was, going into that much precision on these things, and a lot of times I'd just line everything up, and I use to place all the objects. I would use all these lines, and I'd like create the object, and then I would look, and I would use like that line in the background on the floor to line it up this way, and then I would use them, with the base of it there to line them up that way to make sure everything was squared off on the old game. And even on this one, I've had to utilize that stuff because I know how to, and I really liked all these little things, because if you just were to use a big grid, you can't tell that when it's that much off. You can't tell unless you start putting a bunch of stuff down around it, and it just takes that much longer to troubleshoot, like why this, when I built this, I started here and I built it all the way to here, and then I started this side and I built it all the way to here, and then when I got to the end, it's different, and it's like, why? Where did I go wrong? Well, I know where I went wrong, and it was all these little minute things on here, but sometimes you just don't know, and it's like it actually matters, whereas this doesn't really matter. I can just like move this one little block a little bit at the end and line them up. Is this still going? Yeah. So that's part of why I build on Foundry all the time too. These help a lot. Sandbox, it was great idea. It really, I liked it at first, but I went back to this map because the one thing that Sandbox needed was these. They did not put this object on there, and that really messed with me, because that is like detailed stuff, and I'm not sure on this game. They might have added some of that stuff on the Sandbox. It's definitely got way more objects, but this map is far superior now because of all this extra budget. Unless you want a skybox. But yeah, like this barrel, like, yeah, when I'm finishing my map, I go and add a couple of these in there, here and there, add some cover, like original, it actually barrels here, and that works out really nice with putting down that hole and just that little barrel there. They're not gonna see you coming up here, and if somebody does that, it pisses you off, and you throw a grenade and blow them out of the way, right? Now the barrel's gone, but it gives you something to have control over. And just some detail, like to place an actual blocks there. On Sam, it's like there isn't even one that small. And yeah, not only that, but there isn't any of these on Sandbox either, or these, right? Or that, which I don't know, probably not gonna use that. And there isn't any of these. No half pieces. No forklifts, no trucks, and no dumpsters. I mean, that crazy, no dumpsters. Dumpsters are one of the best objects on this map. And so when you got done, you had like 2 blocks that could be moved with a gravel lift that you could place as like to add a little bit of cover. And then you just had to like scab a bunch of weird blocks in that kind of create like cover and barriers, and it just didn't ever feel like full, you know. It didn't ever feel like a real map. It just felt like some garbage shit you'd built. And like, you know, on my original build of this, I think they changed my stain a little bit, but I actually had these barrels right here, and you can actually see it's like, oh, there's like one ring here, and then there's another ring there. So I had a barrel there, here, that. God, so annoying. And I had it. It looked pretty good. It was something like this. I don't remember exactly. And like, it's fucked up. But when you actually place them like that around these stains, like, it looks like they're leaking out. It looks like they are meant to be there, you know, and that this jeez, what is this? Why is it here? It comes out of here. Like, I don't know. Bungie did some weird shit. Like, I guess it's like, it all like ties together. Like, okay, like these are like vacuum lines. Like, that's why these weird random pipes here. Like, this is some sort of vacuum system for this garage. And then like, here's the hose. I don't know. Cheesy. But yeah, there's I think I covered up my good stains. This was the best. It's like, actually really enjoyed this one. It was like, I think it was a single or something. And it just, no, I think I did. And so, yeah, that was kind of part of my, like, I'm just going to let the floor decide where this cover is and just see how that goes. And I think, unfortunately, my design has changed slightly, and I've covered up some of these stains. This one was like, yeah, the old design actually was able to put one there, and it was like in the crotch of that bunker. That's alright. Oh, you know what it was? One of these I had like leaned over. It looked like it spilled. There somehow, maybe down the road. Yeah, there is that. And these are things that I don't want symmetric. I want things to be different. I think that is important. Does that account for no more of that? Spillage. Yeah, it's too bad. I think there's more of them, but I think I covered them up with my walls. Ooh, there's one. That'll get leaky. And yeah, maybe there's some that haven't leaked too. This is where I think, okay, I got some there. There. Some there. It's just me, does that seem way bigger? 1, 2, 3 doors. Just me. Just one here. This hasn't leaked. Man. I think I'm gonna have to move that. I want to put one there. I think that's what these were. But let's do that. Yeah, fuck it. Those are gonna be not leaking. Don't forget to save. Sure where that thing. Say it. It would probably put it actually get this object down here. Yeah, we got the new one. The pallet. We got the crate. Yeah. The water bottle crate. That's what it is. Yeah. There we go. What? Why did that just delete? That's weird. It didn't delete, but where the hell is the teardrop? It's so far underneath it's actually out of the map. It's weird. That's fucking money though, this object. Right. Alright. Sure, that's go ahead and leave that. And yeah. Man, I got black. Let's start coming together. I can start seeing the house gonna flow a little bit. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna make the same. So earlier I was talking about Guardian and the pit and what makes those maps good. One of the things that I think makes Guardian good is the lack of fusion coils. Um, kind of like same as Construct. There's really only a couple spots where there's fusion coils, and then the pit on the opposite still fusion coils, but has a lot of fusion coils, and they're very symmetrical, and they're like very important to the gameplay, like just like on Last Resort. And they're like the regular type of coil, but it's like especially on that wall near the shotguns and like in the center. There really isn't any towards the sword room, but there's like 2 double sets there, and I think that's really all there is. There's just 2 on that back wall, and there's 2 in the center, next to each other, and then on the other side it's mirrored, so there's 8 total. It's 4 pairs of them, and 2 on each side, 2 pairs, and it's like those fusion coils make all the difference to the camping and to the gameplay, and you don't know if they're gonna be there or not. And that's something that, like, on my last bit, like, I'm really having a hard time. Like, where do I put fusion coils and how many? Where do I put singles and where do you put doubles? Because, like, the original Foundry has a couple single spots, and a single one won't kill you without a grenade or something. But the double ones, they'll fucking kill you dead. So the double ones are important. And then you got a map like Last Resort where it's like, does like a chain reaction with them, and there's like a bunch of double ones, and there's even a triple one in the back that'll like blow up a warthog and all sorts of crazy stuff. It's like, it's the only spot I've ever seen where they put 3 next to each other. I don't know why that's there, but I've actually tried to utilize it before, and it's hard, but if you can, it works. And I think I'm gonna like keep going off my pit. And the reason I said this map is like inspired from the pit, it's like, so I had like shotguns there and there, and like the pit has like 2 shotguns. It's got 2 snipers. It's got 2 shotguns. It's pretty much got 2 of everything, 1 for each side. Like another map like Guardian, it only has like 1 shotgun, 1 sniper. It's not symmetrical. But then like certain maps like Construct are real symmetrical, kind of like still only 1 sniper, 1 power weapon. The pit has 1 power weapon. It's a rocket launcher. And it has the sword too. And a lot of maps, they'll have like a power weapon and a sword, or they'll have shotguns. But the pit has all of it. It has the swords, it has shotguns, and it has Spartan laser. So that's a weird one. And like Last Resort has like whatever, the rockets, the laser, and it's got the sword. No, they took the sword away. It's only got the laser. And that's kind of what I like. Like one power weapon, like Guardian. Guardian doesn't have any rockets. That's kind of like awesome. So this what I was using on this one was just like the fuel rod cannon. I feel like the fuel rod cannon is a totally underrated weapon. Fuel rod gun. it's not on any map at all. So it's going to be on my map. It's going to be right here. In the center. I'm not sure if it's going to be here or if it's going to be here yet. For now, it's going to be right in the center. And yeah, it takes two of these to kill you. So it's a power weapon, but it's not too crazy. It's not like a rocket launcher. Like, you can't die off of one. And so I like that. But it's got a lot of bullets, you know? It's got 6 rounds. I think I had no spare clips, no reloading on it. And so it's like, you get 6 shots. And so it's like, yeah, one of them won't kill you, but 2 of them will, like a rocket. And so you can kill 3 people with 1 clip. So it's a little stronger than the rocket launcher as far as the amount of people you can kill with it. But it's a little easier to avoid it, to kill, because you gotta hit, like, you know, twice and stuff. And so I think that's going to make an interesting, and then, you know, with all this destructible terrain, it goes really well. Plus, I just found out that this gun can ricochet, which is going to be cool because of all these fucking curves and shit. So I think it's going to really work well on this map. So there's going to be that, there's going to be shotguns, and there's going to be snipers. So, you know, it's going to be pretty powerful. There's going to be some power weapons. And, yeah, let me go ahead. I'm just going to put the snipers and stuff where I had them before. Those are, oh, yeah, narrows, no shotgun, only maulers. The pit, maulers, and shotguns. So, you know, that, all these things, you know, I was taking into consideration on my build, and I'm going to have some silenced SMGs on here since they do have those. That is cool. I like those. But yeah, the sniper, actually had them right here. I think I'm going to put it right here. Or no, wait. Was it here? I don't know. I kind of want it to be a little bit out of the way, I think. So you really got to go out of your way to get it. It's not on the way anywhere. But yeah, it seemed like it was working good over there because it was about as far away from each other as I could get them, like, which is something else on the pit. Like, they're very far away from each other, so you can't just, like, grab one and then, like, run to the other side of the map and, like, grab the ammo for the air one, like, just like on Last Resort. Like, you can, but you can't just, like, do it right at the beginning of the game. Like, you're better off just using the thing, you know, and each team, you know, because somebody else is going to run to the air one, so each team's got one, so I think that's fair. And then the shotgun thing, I think the way I was making it, maybe only one, or was it a 0 clipper? I think we're going to do this as a 0 clipper. And these were really close to each other, which I kind of thought was cool, because you could, like, grab one and then run to the other side and grab the other one too and get the ammo, which is a little weird. Oh yeah, see, before I put these in, there's actually some spot down here on the old game, it will hide it. Let's see if I can figure it out. No, I think they fixed. They must have patched it or something. I have no idea, but I'm pretty sure. There was something back in these holes, like, see, this is the, why it's the rotate, but, shit. Yeah. There's so, I had it leaned up on this or something, and it was like totally hide, and you could not see it. And it was like a bug, but it was kind of neat because it's like you couldn't see it. You had to go back there, and like, then it would like show it, and it'd be like, holy fucking RB to pick up. You're like, wait a second, what? There's a shotgun back here. But yeah, like nobody ever came back into these. Like nobody ever found these shotguns. Nobody had any idea they were there. No, I don't think anybody even thought about dropping down on this at this area, like, because they just never played the map enough, you know, when when I had them tested. So I thought that was good because it was like, okay, close to each other, but nobody even noticed they're there. So it wasn't like super overpowered. And if that becomes too overpowered, having them there, then I'm gonna like stick them back in here. So it's really close to the sniper. I don't know if maybe I'll put them. Maybe I'd put them here. I'm not sure if it's good to have them so close to the sniper. Until it's a problem, I'm gonna just go ahead. It reminds me of Guardian. You drop down and you got your shotgun. I think that's a good deal. You come out of there with that shotgun, and you actually got a pretty good chance coming out of that hole because, you know, there's normally a lot of action right here. Yeah, it's starting to come together. And those little details. So yeah, I forget exactly everything, but I know there was the shotguns and the sniper, and you know, I'm going in the spirit of Guardian in the pit, so we're gonna have the invisibility and we're gonna have the overshield, and I really don't like the invisibility. I like Construct because it doesn't have power-ups, and I like Last Resort because it doesn't have an overshield, and like a couple other maps it's like they only have like one or the other. I can't think of one that doesn't have the invisibility, but I'm pretty sure there is one. But this is where I had this before, and I really liked it here because it's a good spot to get it, and it's cool because at the beginning of the match, you know if somebody's comes through here, because when you come back here, it'll be gone. You cannot get through this doorway. I think I even had it like slightly raised like that or something. Like you could not get through this space without picking that motherfucker up. And so you know if somebody's like trying to like sneak in through the back door or whatever here on your base, and and so you'll like come back here, whatever, after you got your gun or something, and then you see it's gone, and then you start being like, oh fuck, because you're just like, somebody's invisible, and probably right, they probably just came through and got that river. But also, on that note, after I figured all that out, then I figured out that, because I had these things too, I think I'm gonna leave these, like, okay, do this, go ahead, pull one of these, and like, so if somebody starts thinking like I did it, being like, oh, you know, nobody's still there, so nobody's going through this way. They're probably not gonna like pay much mind to a mongoose around here, especially because like there's gonna be another one over here. So they're probably just gonna think it was that one. And like, so then it's like, and you can take a passenger too, and you can come through, and then like, fucking be like, whatever, like, I think I came out this way or something, but it's like, then, you know, they're gonna think, oh, you know, we're totally good. Nobody's come through this way. So, either way, it just adds some more, like, depth, layers to the gameplay there. I'm wondering if, cheat this. So they're gonna stop me from taking the mongoose off or something, but I would like to know if that's something people are gonna be able to do. Yeah. Interesting. But hey, if you're smart enough to do that, then this might be, I might turn this into the garage or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't think people are gonna know what to take democracy. That's like literally one of the coolest parts about being on here is that like you spawn, you're out this spawn, you just go this way, which normally takes something fun. Because get through here quicker. I mean, it doesn't feel that much quicker, you know, to start a match. Especially just all the way up this way. I guess you wouldn't need to do this. This is here. Before that was there was no other way across. Not really sure about where to put these, but it was working right up there. So I'll go ahead and keep that the way it was. And then, let's see, what else did I have? I have these up here. I had one of these up here. Not sure about this. Once again, a little overpowered, but it's a power weapon. But you know, the pit has got 2 turrets, so I'm putting 1 turret, and I'm putting a plasma cannon because it really isn't very effective as a turret. Once you rip it off, but it's decent, you know? So it's like, alright, actually, I think. Really. But yeah, that was working out good, so go ahead and leave that there. And that, one of these up here. I think that's a nice little flare, because every map has 2 types of grenades. It does not have 3. You can never have more than 4 grenades on any of these maps that Bungie has made. You know, it's always plasmas or spikies, never both. And I've tried just doing firebombs and frags. It didn't really work. So instead, I'm doing this, and it's like a power weapon, you know. So it's like you will be able to have 6 grenades on you, but you can't. But 2 of them are gonna be the firebombs, and just like the plasma cannon. Another thing that's very underrated, didn't ever get used much. And then I had like some SMGs, and I'm gonna have to load up the old map, figure out where the rest of those weapons were, I think. Eventually, but I do remember, let's see, I had no equipment, right? I can't stand the equipment. I think I might have had a global cover once, but cloaking, God. But no, there was I had. Covenant carbine, not a carbine. I have these up here. So that was definitely good. It's somewhere up here for now. And up here. And then I had VR spawns right off the gate. kind of like the pit. You got one right by the spawn here. Got like right here. Then one like towards the center. I think a good spot for this one. And you really can't have a lot of these. Like the pit has more than pretty much any other map, and it only has 4. It's got 2 per side. And if you put any more than that, it really fucks shit up. Like everybody's gotta be. It's too many. Even just putting these 2 this close. I'm hesitant, but I think it kind of does that, so it'll be okay. And that's, this map looks nothing like the pit, but I just asked myself, it's like that on the pit, does it work on the pit? If it does, then I think it's going to work on here, That one. I don't remember where this shit. I think a good spot for this is up here. As if you're coming up this bridge and you don't have the fucking VR, you're gonna need some ammo. Gonna need some. And it needs to be somewhere where you just pick it up on it automatically. Like if you don't even know what you're fucking doing at all. Because that's something else. It's right there. Like when you come up that ramp on the pit, like it forces you to pick it up. You don't even know you're picking up ammo for this thing. You really you can't avoid it. So something like that. You know what? I think I'm gonna do it right here. How does that look? Test them both. We'll do one there. Do one on the air side where I had the air one. This is one of the worst things, trying to place these with this new freaking controls. This is one of the easiest things to do. Very good. Yeah. That's what it is. There's really no way you're not going to pick that up. Let's see about this, though. At the end there. I don't know. Can't decide that yet, so just leave that like that for now. Let's see what else. I think I had a pistol back here. I had it all wrote down. Let's see, we need something else up here. One SMG and one frag here. It was way too overpowered to have aim worth that. These are all fucked up. I guess since I put them on movable or some shit. So yeah, let's see.
Game over.
Oh, I think I'm gonna take a break here and wrap it up for this one. Oh. Anybody who's patient enough to watch all this stuff, you might be ready to forge. It's some long ass videos, I bet. Alright, I'm going to delete my first two versions here. And start a new one. And you have to save as a new map, and then you have to end the game and select that map. So that way, when you hit save, it actually saves on the new one. Otherwise, it'll keep saving on the old one, and then the one you save will end up being the old one. You know, it'll be the backup, but it'll be labeled wrong. It doesn't really screw anything up. That doesn't look right, does it? So let's see. See, this map's only got one shotgun. small. Here we go. We got 2 there. We got 2 there. And we got 2 over here. So, 6. So, I'm aiming for 8.
Game over.
If 8's too many, we'll do a double pair and then like a single or something, you know? Oh, wow. So, now I have to start the game 3 times because of this retardedness. So yeah, if anybody 343 wants to hire anybody, probably know more about this game than anybody on your crew. I think there's a job for something, engineer, front end engineer. That's what I would be for this game. A really good front end engineer. New file. Version 4. Alright.
Game over.
Catch you in a little bit here.